To perform a backup using the SQL Server Management Studio, this actually can be a two-step process, and I want to show you what I mean by that. First of all, I want you to notice that to back up a database, it's very simple in the Management Studio. For example, the sales database, if I want to back it up, really all I have to do is right-click on the database. In the flyout menu, choose Tasks, and then navigate down to Backup. Then the Backup Database dialog box will appear. You'll notice it's showing me that my recovery model is full. Notice the database I'm going to back up is sales. I can give the backup set a name and a description if I would like. I can let the backup set expire after a certain date if I would like. Then notice on options, I can tell it whether to append it to a backup set, override all existing sets, check the media name and set expiration and so forth. So I can do whatever I want to with this. I can back up to a new media set and erase all backup sets. Notice I can verify when finished, and I can perform a checksum before writing to the media. So there's a lot of things I can do here. But notice I can tell it where to back up, or I can remove this. Very easy to create these things. And notice I can back up to a file name. Now notice device is grayed out. I'll show you why in just a minute. All I have to do is just simply browse out and choose a location where I want to put my particular file. I'll just take that. Well, I'm going to have to set one here. Notice on the file name, I have to choose it and have to type in a file name. And so I'll call it sales.back. Now I can OK out, and I simply hit OK, and you'll notice down here it was executing, and the backup completed successfully. Didn't take very long on that one, and my backup is done. Okay, and I put that out in H. Now I'll come out, go to my H drive, and you'll see my sales back right there. Okay, so that did it. Now, the device, let's go back just a second and let's talk about the sales device the device issue that you saw. If you'll notice that when I tried to back up, that I couldn't back up to a device. Okay, now what's the advantage of a device? A device doesn't really give you an advantage, except it does make things a little bit more consistent. In previous versions, you had to create devices. Well, if you want to do a device, on the particular SQL Server, I come down to Server Objects and expand that. You will see Backup Devices. If I right-click Backup Device and choose New Backup Device, I can put a name here, and I'll just call that Mark. And notice the destination. If I had a tape drive, I could send it to the tape drive. But on the file here, notice I've got it going to Mark back right now. And again, I could browse out and get whatever I wanted, and I'll cancel out of that. And now that I say OK, you'll notice I have a device here called Mark. Now, when I go to back up my database, you will notice that I can choose to back up to the Mark device. If I had multiple devices, I could have them out there. And that is just to make it easy to back up. Now notice that backing up and saying the backup failed. It's not part of a media set and so forth. And I want to get into that, but I just want to show you the devices. That's how you can make a device show up. A lot of people like to use devices because you can then append to them and so forth. So that's simply how to do a backup from within the graphical user interface of the SQL Server Management Studio.